Hello, is Carsman50 from the Hardware Diversity Discussion, and this is episode 2 of the My Thoughts series that is coming out every fortnight or so. I've been a bit slack about that again. Hopefully this video is more in focus than the last one, as I was having issues with getting the SLR quite rightly set up, and this one should be a lot better. So anyway, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Intel Coffee Lake CPUs, which are due out in the next, 2 weeks or so now actually, and we're going to be discussing its merits, what it's about, the chipset features, as well as compatibility as well, because a lot of people are still confused about that one slightly. Hopefully I have some slides up on the screen during this video, as I was meant to last time around but didn't get able to do that, so this time I will do that. So anyway, starting off with the very important and pressing features of Coffee Lake is that they're finally moving to any outside of what the traditional Core i5, Core i3 CPUs and i7 CPUs will be in terms of core counts, and they will be quad cores for the i3s, 6 cores for the i5s, and also 6 cores with 12 threads for the i7s. That's a big jump. That's going to be really impressive stuff, and going to obviously is sort of more poignant to compete with AMD Ryzen, obviously, and it's going to be quite the fast CPU because they are still building them on the ring bus architecture. I'll have a slide up talking about that now, and Good Old Gamer really talked about what the benefits are of that and the optimizations that will come from keeping the architecture going until consoles are utilizing Zen, or going to be optimizing the new mesh architecture that's coming with the Skylake X CPUs. Well, already it is with the Skylake X CPUs, and probably the X series chipset and beyond, I would imagine. So yeah, still the ring bus, going to have 6 cores there. It's still going to have DDR4 RAM support. That's going to be standard across all boards now, I'd imagine, with 64 gigs there. It's still going to have a DMI 3.0, so it's going to have the chipset PCI Express lanes running at Gen 3, as well as also the PCI Express lanes coming from the CPU are going to be running Gen 3, so the 1X slots, the M.2 slots, and the USB ports are going to be running off the Gen 3 controller. So that's really good to see, and obviously really increases speed through the input and output of particular devices, also including USB Gen 2, 3 Gen 2 I should say, because most of the boards do have a front panel connector for that, which is really cool stuff. Not that we've seen many cases with Type C or even Type A support at Gen 3 by 2. USB 3 Gen 2 ports on the front of cases, so that's kind of be a bit interesting, hopefully future-proof for that sort of stuff, and not a lot of actually drives other than possibly mobile SSDs coming with that sort of support as well. It seems to be a bit lacking there. But so that's really cool stuff, really high-end connectivity. A lot of boards coming now with, as you can see in this WCCF Tech article, where they're explaining about the expansion cards for M.2 drives. So supposedly you better get M.2 RAID on there, but once again they've only got 16 PCI Express lanes coming from the CPU, with 4 coming from the chipset. So still limited to the same amount as what the standard Intel platforms mainstream motherboards come with, the 16 and then the 4 for the expansion and all that kind of stuff. They do have native USB 3.1 and also native M.2 coming from the CPU, so that uses other controllers on the CPU rather than the PCI Express lanes directly from that. Same with what AMD Ryzen has. They've got native USB 3.1, the only actual chipset to support that, but we're not talking about that today because I've covered that in my previous video to a lesser extent. But so yeah, 6 cores is going, as you can see from these benchmarks on the screen, there are lots and lots of performance through Cinebench and 3D Mark. It's actually outperforming the Ryzen 7 CPUs in some tests, which is really, really interesting stuff. Overclocking is going to be absolutely insane. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to reach the magic 5 GHz this time around because of the higher core count, and obviously it's still using the same 14nm process that is on Kibby CPUs. Talking about Kibby CPUs, yes, we're going to jump onto that now. They're not going to be supported on the Z370 chipset. Perhaps a BIOS update may fix that, because that's happened with Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge CPUs, where they have had some intercompatibility issues due to the Gen PCI Express compatibility, but obviously there's really very little difference in terms of how they're constructed this time around, rather than the 32 and 22nm CPUs of the Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge. So that's going to be quite interesting to see whether motherboards will get around that, because Intel has explicitly said that that's not going to work. And ASRock have also has been tweeted that a few months back whether that's going to be a thing or not, and apparently it is not. So that's all interesting stuff. I'll talk more about Ice Lake in the future as well, whether they're talking about the 8-core CPUs. That's going to be really, really interesting stuff, because Intel is clear they're going to be moving away from the traditional 4 cores and killing off dual core i3s in the process as well, even though that they've just made a high-end desktop i3, the 70K or something like that for the X299 platform. That to me really scratches my head, and I'm just honestly not sure what that means for that platform, because they're trying to make it cheaper for people to go into. That clearly is not the right way to go about that, in my opinion. But that's going to be another video. I'm going to be talking about the Extreme Series platform, possibly as a whole, maybe talking about particular product lines, maybe make a slightly longer version of this video, I'm not so sure. But anyway, I think that about wraps it up. If you've got any ideas for future My Thoughts series, because it can be talking about particular product lines, talk about particular technologies in general, these are going to be coming out every fortnight, as I've said earlier, so please make sure to comment on the production quality and all that kind of things. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts as well as my thoughts. Don't forget to rate, comment, favourite and subscribe for Need for Speed, Let's Play, Top Gear Los Santos coming in a couple of months, channel update videos every week, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out for now, bye bye.